Hey, welcome back. Jeff from Acme LiveScan and Notary and co-founder of the Notary family. Hey, today I just wanted to talk about notary law. Now, of course, every state is different, but I just wanted to share a situation that I ran across that will hopefully help everyone, no matter what state they're in. And that is, let me just share the situation. A colleague contacted me and asked me about a document that needed to be apostilled, and it was going to I can't remember exactly what country it was going to, but it doesn't matter. She sent me a picture of the document, and I looked it over, and she said, "Is this going to work at the Secretary of State?" And I said, "No, it isn't." And the reason was it was a power of attorney, and had 3 pages. And on the first page, the notary had um, stamped over, put their stamp on there. That I guess the person signed. They just put the stamp there and stuck it there. The next page, they had an acknowledgement stamp that they stamped with the California language, and they did that and stamped that. That page was okay. But the third page, they had an acknowledgement that was, it was an attachment, loose certificate that was attached on there. Okay, so here's where the problem is yes, it was great they had a loose certificate, but they should have stopped there. You can't have a stamp, your random notary stamp just stuck there without notary language. Okay, you just can't say, "Hey, I'm going to stamp this," because the client or customer says, "Hey, I want you to stamp on this page too." You don't do that. Okay. So what I do is, especially here, I'm in California. You can do whatever you want in your state based on your laws. But here in California, when I have to attach a loose certificate and somebody says, "Hey, are you going to stamp my document because you're attaching, your official stamp is not on the actual document?" I say, "You know what? I can't do that because it's against the law. it has to have notary language. But what I can do is I have this other cool little stamp that says, see attached California compliance certificate." Okay, so I put that on there, and 99% of the time they're happy with that. Okay, and they go about their day. In this case, this document was going to go to the Secretary of State. So if it were just any document that's going to remain with the signer, probably wouldn't have been a huge issue, right? But since it's going to the Secretary of State to get an apostille put on it, okay, that it has to make sure, you have to make sure your document is perfect. That means as a notary, you have to have all the elements in your certificate perfectly. You need to make sure your signature matches what's on the file at the Secretary of State. Make sure your stamp's there. Make sure all of the other elements in your certificate are there. Everything's perfect. If there's something that's off and they catch it at the Secretary of State, they're just going to reject it and say, "Yeah, this notary screwed up." And if the client goes up there themselves, not you, like you're not taking it, and that you give it back to the client, and the client says, "Yeah, I'll do it," and they get a letter saying, "Hey, the notary screwed up," that's not good for you. Okay, that is not good, because they can go put a review and say, "I needed this document right away, and the notary screwed up because they don't know what they're doing," or whatever they're going to say about you online, and it's there forever. Okay, so you don't want to be in that situation. So my recommendation, number one, is get your state handbook. This is an old one. This is from 2020. I actually gave a one to a client yesterday. After I get done with this story, I'm going to tell you that story, because that's an interesting story. I don't want to make a new video for that. So Anyway, so get your state handbook. Make sure you go through it and know exactly what your laws are, exactly how you need to utilize your stamp. Okay, if it says on there, hey, you can't have a stamp placed randomly on a page, then don't do it. Okay, even if your client wants you to do it. Okay, just don't do it. Just say, hey, I can't do it. And I carry this around because if somebody wants me to do something, especially when you get into nursing homes and such, they don't have their ID or something. You're like, oh, okay, I know what it is in my head, what I need to do, but I pull this out and I go, oh, let me bring that. Well, I need this, this, and this to be compliant with the law, and because I have this right here, so they can't argue with me saying, hey, another notary did it and you're not doing it. This is from the Secretary of State. So this is what I have to abide by, right? That's my boss, Secretary of State. So I just want to share that with you. Know your laws. I think I did a video on that before, but now it becomes more critical when things start going to the Secretary of State. And you don't know when a document's going to the Secretary of State unless the person specifically comes to you and says, yes, I'm sending this to France or Spain or the Philippines or whatever country it's going to. And then you go, oh, okay, you're doing apostille. Okay, great. And they say, oh, I'm going to take it up there. Oh, okay. So then you know, okay, I need to make sure I do everything right and everything. But if they don't tell you that, you're never going to know. And so that's why you need to know your laws anyway. You need to make sure you do everything 100%. Take your time to do the notarization. Don't run in there and say, hey, I did that notarization in 5 minutes and made $100. Okay, that's great. But if you screwed up, that's not $100, right? Because then you're going to either go back and fix your problem, or your name is going to be slandered across the internet. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, I want everybody to succeed. So spend time in your handbook for your state. Make sure you read it carefully. And then also, I'm going to put this link in the description, but register for Bill Soroka, the notary coach. He and Laura Buer have the TNT. It's the Tuesday Notary Titans, I believe is what it stands for. Every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern, where you can get on there and ask notary questions. So if there's something you're not 100% clear about in your book, get on that call. It's free, and say, hey, I have a question. I can't figure it out. I've looked through my book. I've talked to some other notaries and they told me this, and another notary told me that, or whatever. I'm confused. Get somebody that has some experience, especially Laura. Laura knows, she's well-versed in many states, many laws. I mean, she probably knows every state, but I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but she knows her stuff. Okay. And Bill as well, they can lead you and tell you where to find the information if they don't have the answer themselves. Okay. So that's what I wanted to share. Now, the other story that I'm going to get into, the book. So I had a lady call me. She can't work. She's had 3 DUIs in the last, I don't know, however long. She hasn't been able to work for 2 years. So she calls me up and says, I need to make sure these things are off my record so I can get a job. So I'm going to fingerprint her. I said, well, I can fingerprint you and you can get a record review. So I'm talking to her about that. And okay, great. And she's worried about, well, how about if it didn't fall off and everything? I said, well, you pay for it. If it's still on there, then you have to come back again and do it again, So I said to her, well, if you're not a criminal and there's a list of things, why don't you look into being a notary? Then you can go out and start, you have to obviously go through the test and everything here in California, but that might be something that you want to look into and get something going so that you can do some work, because you work for yourself essentially. And so she came over, I fingerprinted her, and she asked me again about it. This was on the phone that I was telling her all this stuff. And then she came over the next day, and I shared with her, I did her fingerprints, and then she asked about the notary stuff. I said, oh yeah, I told her to go to the National Notary Association's website and check out there. But then I said, you know what, let me give you this handbook. This tells you what all the requirements are, and you'll have that, and then you can go to the National Notary Association and find out more information. So she was just grateful for that. So that's the reason I have this old book, is because that was my only current version. So just I just wanted to share that. That's just me trying to help somebody out. You know, I don't know if she's going to become a notary or not. She might get into it and say, I don't have any money to get involved and be a notary yet or something. I don't know. But the thing is, I just was trying to help her to, get on her feet, because she hasn't worked for a couple years because of those challenges that she's had on her record. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I will talk to you guys another time. Have a great day.